up to Siman Taf Lamed Chet. I know I'm skipping a little bit, but we pretty much spoke about the things that which were not. We spoke about most of these things already, so we have to just keep on going to the next thing. The following concept: if we know that after Bedigat Chametz is done and it's over, and you're hiding the bread for the next day, you have the bagels, you have the casseroles, you have the pizza, and you have all the macaroni, pasta, macaroni with cheese, I don't know, whatever is there that you still want to eat the next day. All that has to be locked up and has to be put away. When I say locked up, it doesn't mean that you leave it in a bag on the table. Anyone that can get to it will only cause you more trouble, which means it has to be locked up. Lock it up, put it away, put it into a drawer. If you're putting it, the olden days used to be, they used to tie things on to the roof. They used to have a rope hanging from the roof, and they used to hang it up on that. So this way you know that for sure you're not running into any problems. But let's say you have a situation like this. You cleaned up your house, and after you cleaned up your house, everything is done. You say, Baruch Hashem, all that hard work and all the sweat, not for no reason. I know that it was everything's Baruch Hashem accomplished, and Pesach we are on to the accepting the holiday. Suddenly he sees how one of his children grabs it with the bagel in his hands, runs into the place that he just cleaned and prepared for Pesach. The next thing you have is another situation. You see mice running around, rodents, raccoons, running with a piece of bread into the room, and you know for sure that trouble.
The dog, your favorite story.
What?
Your favorite story, the dog running with the bread.
The dog with the bread. That's for Yom Kippur. That's not for now. So the story, the halakha is what to do. So it depends. We say if it was a human that ran in with chametz, and you walk after him into the room, and you see what's happened in the outcome. If you see that there is leftover crumbs, the guy from the bread had a leftover crumbs, and those crumbs are laying on the floor, and you start calculating. You say, normally humans, when they eat, they drop crumbs. There are a lot of crumbs. The biggest proof is, look around your plate, and look in your plate, and look on your pants, and you see that, there are crumbs all over, and the floor has crumbs too. So if you see that there are crumbs, you can assume that the person ate up all the chametz. But if you see no crumbs at all, there you go again. You have to do the bedigat chametz all over again. You need to do bedigat chametz all over again. Why? Because normally humans have crumbs. You found no crumbs. Must be something went wrong, and therefore the guy is hiding it. You gotta look. You gotta search the whole house for bedigat chametz all over again. Which is not so by the other way around by an animal. If raccoons, mice, squirrels, whatever it is, they run in with a piece of bread, or the dog with a piece of bread running into the house, and you see that the house, if you find crumbs, you know that this is not the crumbs that are left by the animal. Animals do not leave a crumb behind. They don't leave anything behind. And therefore, if you found crumbs, you cannot assume that it ate it up. If you found no crumbs at all, you can assume that the animal probably finished it off and it doesn't really exist. So this, just 1 second. Like this. If you have the following situation, somebody came over to me and he says, I have alcohol. He collects unique bottles, something special. And he has them all the way up high. He has a 10-foot ceiling in the house. Yeah, very spacious, a lot of air. High electric bill, high air conditioning bill also, because it takes longer to warm up because all the heat rises. He has all the alcohol sitting up high. He says doesn't really have the access to it. He needs to bring a table, a chair, and somebody has to, on top of a chair, something else just to get to it. What to do in such a situation? The Shulchan Aruch brings down a very interesting case. You have a kazayit, you have a kazayit lechem, right? You have a kazayit bread. Chametz, kazayit, a substantial amount. It's all the way up high, on next to the ceiling, one of the beams that support the ceiling. We assume that somehow during the Pesach that thing is going to come down. And therefore the halakha is he has to bring a ladder, climb up, take it out of there, and get rid of it. He can't just say, you know what, no, it's beyond my reach, I cannot get to it, which is not, so the halakha is, Shulchan Aruch says, we assume it will fall, and therefore you must bring it down. So I told the fella, I said, listen, I know you were saving it for your daughter's wedding, your son's wedding. I don't know what it is. You're trying to age it. I don't know what the idea is. Unique bottles, things that are discontinued, not sold anymore. He said, the halakha is very straightforward. You're going to have to climb up, take all that alcohol, bring it down, and bury it somewhere. Lock it up. If you don't lock it up, we assume it's coming down. So therefore, you have to put it away. Another thing is, comes out the very interesting cases.
What if he just covers it over there? Like
If he, a lot of people do that, but here is the halakha. Shulchan Aruch, not for no reason, goes ahead and says, there's one siman, Shulchan Aruch says, that all the kilim and all the chametz that you're putting away, and you're going to sell to the goy, and it's not yours. The dishes are not, you have no one to use the dishes on Pesach. He says you must, Shulchan Aruch says, lock the door with the key and hide the key.
Swallow it.
I say swallow it. Always up, open up after Pesach, Bezrat Hashem, it will come out. Now, excuse me, so, listen to the outcome. Why is it like that? So I heard a true story. A rabbi told me it happened story in Lakewood, New Jersey. The story went on. They were sitting by a table, Pesach. A lot of guests. The house is full. They had a beautiful settle. The next thing is they know that the next morning when they wake up, they open up the dishwasher. After the maid or whoever it is, the housekeeper, does everything on her own. And suddenly they see that amongst all their dishes, there are spoons, cutlery, chametz, inside the dishwasher. Now comes the question, what to do? Chametz, with all the dishes, question is if everything is kosher, because they ran a cycle, hot water. They ran to the rabbi. The rabbi said, no, the problem is it's chametz. So the rabbi said, all your dishes are no good. Everything, the halakha wasn't the outcome, that it's no good at all, everything, gone. Not allowed to, I don't know how he came to this conclusion, what exactly went on. He says it's a very big problem, you have to put away the dishes. The rabbi asked the question though, can you tell me how it happened? Are you guys observant Jews? And you do put everything away. How did these spoons, forks, knives get to the table? He says there was a kid in the house who was also a family member, and he comes to his Pesach Seder and he sees everybody has a plate and everybody has spoons, cutlery, everything is there, but his plate where his sitting happens to be has no spoons, no forks, nothing at all. So what did he do? He says, listen, I'm capable of doing things on my own. He went to the kitchen. There was slight tape on the drawer. He opens up, pulls open the drawer, and he starts taking whatever he needs, puts it back, puts the tape back on the way it was. And he said, listen, now I also could celebrate my Pesach just like everybody else. And it came out to be a very big problem. So the rabbi says, now I know why the Shulchan Aruch says that you have to put everything in, close the door, lock it, and hide the key also. Because you never know what's going to happen. You never know. Take a look. This guy caused himself a lot of trouble. Okay, let's proceed further to the next thing. The concept of another interesting halachot. There's certain halachot which don't really apply to us today as much. You have the following concept. Let's say a person goes ahead and he puts pieces of bread out. He puts pieces of bread out. Like, you know, we have kor hamira, right? Oh, Bukhari say, oh, hide all the pieces of bread. It's not hiding go seek, by the way, just pointing it out again. The guy hides 10 pieces of bread. And he starts searching for them. And after he finds, looking, he finds only 9. And does not find the 10th piece of bread. The halakha is, cannot stop checking. He should continuously look for that piece of bread. Had many stories like this, how guys hid the bread and they all forgot where it was hidden. It's called a game of hide and go seek. Many happen in rabbis' houses, it happens in regular people's houses, happens everywhere. So whatever you do yourselves a favor. Pen and paper, you walk behind the guy, say, okay, we're taking a survey. Where did you put this piece of bread? Check. You put check. You know, a lot of people say you have to put out 10 pieces of bread. Don't hide them. Just put them in specific places. One on the table, one under the table, one on a chair, one in the refrigerator, one in the freezer, one on the counter, one on the kitchen floor. Put them in places where you normally have chametz over there. It's not time to play games. So you have to go, once you go looking for them, it's very easy. Someone told me, Rabbi, if I don't have time, and I know the house, this guy went through the whole house. Does it have to be that I put 10 pieces of bread have to be far apart from each other? I told him, do you ever play kugelach? So he says, kugelach. I said, you know, people have like 5 stones, you know, they have small enough. You throw one up and you pick up 4 at a time. You pick up all 4 and then you catch the last last piece of gugelach into your hands? He said, yeah. So same thing. Put the 9 pieces down, throw one up, say bracha, biur chametz, pick everything up, catch the thing, say, done. Make the bitur, you're good to go. I'm making a joke, but I'm just saying, guys, you don't have to make it more sophisticated than things are already as is. Don't make it more harder. It's a lot of fun, true. We involve the kids. It's a lot goes into it. It's a traditional thing to do, but not time to cause more trouble. He says in the outcome would be, he says, Shulchan Aruch brings down the very interesting case if a guy put out 10 pieces of bread, but somehow they were one attached to the other. I guess he had a thread going one room, yeah, he was able to pick up all 10 in one shot. Just pull one and everything comes up on it. Go fishing, get 10 out. But he says, let's say he found the same thing, but when he picked it up, he started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He says, where's the 10th one? So Shulchan Aruch says, how many pieces of bread do you have to look for? So everybody starts scratching their head. What do you mean? One more. He says, no, you got to look for all 10. Because you can assume that these 9 are completely a different set. That's what he says. Because he said, well, how else, where would that piece of bread go? So Shulchan Aruch says, you're going to have to look for all 10. And whatever you say right now, that you found 9, we assume that these are different pieces of bread that you put out. Okay? And therefore, it comes out to be a very big problem. Now the halakha brings down over here, which is a very interesting one also. If you put your chametz on this side of the house, you left, it was all good, you came back. You found the chametz on this side of the house. Now what happened exactly over here? Okay? What to do? The halakha is we say also the same thing. We assume this is different, and whatever was there was taken away. Go look for it. So do me a favor, whatever you do, many halachot come forward as trouble. Make sure you don't get into more trouble than you have already.